why are my academics always linked to my hair? I had beautiful long hair. Like I usually say, the last time my hair was really long was in boarding school. And I remember now class 8 mocks, we've passed or allegedly failed, and I just remember he's called Mr. Bakari Kiswahili. You'd hear him from a distance. Wasichana wajinga. So you'd hear it from a distance. So there was a bit of commotion in the other class, and we knew our class is coming next. Wajinga kabisa. So kumbe in the commotion, he was walking with a pair of scissors, and it didn't matter what was on your head. The scissors, wasichana wajinga wameanguka, next head. So what saved me is I had really small lines. But all the other people, their hairs were cut across. Do you understand the cross sign? 1 and 2. And he says, malizia badaye dada. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel and another episode of the Wheat Podcast. My name is Maggie if you're new here. This is a platform where we just discuss things that trigger your mind to ask, what is that? So any topic, we delve deeper and have conversations around that topic. And I am excited today to be joined by two ladies who I consider not only my friends but my family. This set has been very loud, so I'm happy to have a ball of energy that is my sisters. And I'm going to let them introduce themselves. They are not new to the channel as of now. Yeah, they're not new. So I'm going to let them introduce themselves in case you're new here so that you can know them and you'll know them more even as we discuss today's topic. So on my left,
my name is Jocyline Omondi. I am an advocate of the High Court of Kenya. I am a partner at Jaro Advocates LLP. In addition, I'm also the founder of Bougie Scents and Fragrances.
Yes, amazing candles.
Yes, I make the best candles in Kenya. Actually, worldwide. I'll just put it out there.
Yeah, check it out on Instagram.
Yes. And apart from that, I am also a content creator.
Yes. On your channel is?
Jocyline Omondi.
Yeah, please check it out. Yes. She has amazing therapeutic content.
Cozy content.
And to my right.
Hi, my name is Joan. I'd say just Joan. I don't have a lot of words to introduce myself
Maggie,
with.
Just Joan.
I don't have a lot of words like they do. I struggle with introducing myself. So let's just leave it as Joan.
Joan, okay. If you've watched the friendship episode, you know more about Joan. Yeah, we've been friends for a very long time. So I'd actually consider them my sisters. Little sister.
Older sister.
If you insist. So today's conversation, this is a topic I've wanted to unpack here. Boarding school. We've had experiences in boarding school and we want to see, are we traumatized? Did we have what kind of experiences did we have in boarding school? Like what exactly happened? Or when you hear boarding school, what is that? What is that? Because some of us need therapy because we went through boarding school. So just as we start this conversation, I'd like to ask first, how did you end up in boarding school, Jocyline?
So my first time being in boarding was in class 6. No, I think class 7. Because I was in St. Hannah's Primary School, the one in Karen. So all my classmates...
Boarding?
Yes, boarding.
Oh.
So all my classmates were in boarding at some point. So I remember I went home and I told my mom, Mommy, may I feel like going to boarding? Take me to boarding because all my friends are in boarding. I don't... Because every time you hear like the good stories, what has happened in night preps, things like that, the food wasn't also bad.
Yeah.
Then that's how I decided, let me go to boarding. That was in primary.
Oh, so you went to boarding in primary school?
Yes, I did.
Ah, nice. That's your first boarding
That was my
school
first
encounter.
boarding.
And you,
yeah.
Joan, how did you end up in boarding school?
I think all my siblings except one. The last one is the one who didn't go to boarding school. But I think just living in a household of 100 people. So that is the only way my dad could survive keeping us all, to ensure that there is food on the table for the people who are around. From the firstborn to the 99th born. Okay, 7th born.
That's just 8.
7th born. But
lived with many people.
being Luo, that means every single relative that comes to Nairobi lives in your house.
Yeah.
And you can't chase them away.
Their
family.
Yeah.
So how my dad managed, he took everyone to work. I remember my mom refusing. She thought we wouldn't survive. And I was like, how do you think I can survive in boarding school? I wish I listened.
So you went to boarding at what age?
I was in class 6. I was 11, 12.
12, yeah. I also went to boarding in class 6. I thought you went earlier.
No, class 6.
Oh,
My sister is
okay.
the one who went earlier.
Me personally, I was in Mountain View, primary school, private school, just flourishing. I think I was just okay. Then a teacher I was rude to a teacher. Teacher Joyce, if you're watching, I'm sorry. But I paid. I paid heavily. So when this teacher told me I need to see your mom. I knew I'm going to die. So I told my mom I want to transfer. I really need to transfer. And she's like, okay. And she asked where. I said boarding school. So every time I used to go to school and that teacher's like, you've not come with your parent. I said, I need to see your parent. I would panic. So I pushed the agenda. I need to transfer. So she took me for interviews. I went to Nairobi Primary. I went to sijui which one in Molo, sijui St. Mary's maybe. Then I went to Mukumu in Kakamega. And I passed all the interviews. When I was asked, I chose the farthest from that teacher to from
Your sister.
I needed my space. I was like, boarding school, independence, aki kimbele mbele yangu ndo ilinipeleka boarding school.
But I think another thing that was attractive about going to boarding school is having your shopping.
Like
and
your
we do shopping.
You're managing your own thing.
Yes.
You're a tiny adult. We were stupid.
I know.
And so that's how I ended up in Mukumu primary boarding school, Hayega, PO Box 147. Yeah, so in general, we want to recap and just see. Are you happy you landed there? What were some of the experiences that you will never forget? And just to start with, what kind of culture did you meet in boarding school? Okay, I know you went first to St. Hannah's. How was it, the boarding experience?
In primary, the boarding experience was actually good. I think the only thing which I didn't like was the spaghetti.
Mashidas and Nairobi.
No, listen, it was so maji until I never...
No wonder your scents are called bush
I never
scents.
even... No.
It started early.
It's not like that.
I get you. I hear you.
It was good. Like, if you compare that and then now the high school one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, the mashed up spaghetti.
Exactly. I think I only remember... I only had good memories about
St.
that.
Hannah's.
About St. Hannah's.
Nice.
Yeah. But
No,
high school?
uh-huh.
Oh my goodness. Have we started with the bad experiences?
No, just
Oh.
police there. So for me, which is now primary school, I went to Mukumu, as I've said. I think one of the most shocking things I found there is corporal punishment. And it's not to say where we were not being beaten. I think we're being beaten on the hands or something. But what? The first time the senior teacher came to our class, you were making noise before prep ishe. And then he was the most feared teacher. But me, nimetoka Nairobi, what do I know? Then we were told everyone to go outside of the senior teacher's office. And then I just saw people panicking. I'm like, how bad can it get? And then it's at night. We were told to sleep on the floor, on a line. See, still I'm like, what can this man do? Like, my Nairobi brain is not still processing. But the person next to me is Hail Marying, is praying. Woo! Niliona tu viboko zikianzia number 1. I was like, surely this man won't beat me. But I saw stars. I saw the stars. Like, you see how you're beating your sister? Hey! That kiboko landed on it was my ass. Yeah, we were beating her. Hey, from heavens to down. I forgot my name. I saw stars. That was the most shocking experience just starting life in boarding school for me. I've never forgotten how. Nanichapwa moja. But hautawaisahau. What was the most shocking encounter in terms of culture that you found when you went to primary?
You know, you had forgotten that, and then you said that, and I have 1,000 ways. No, ours was not just one teacher. Like, they find all of you guys, then they all go call other teachers, and then they all hold to vibokos. Maybe they were marinating in water with pili, and then they just walk beating people. It was so bad. And when you're told to do that, you're told to walk on your knees to the parade. And then when you get there, you lie down. Now for me, my shocking experience, that one has just shocked me. I've just remembered, and mine was on the thighs. My thighs don't look like everyone else's thighs. But now for me, the shocking experience is having to sleep past 10 p.m. every day. I was
in primary.
Night prep.
What are you studying?
I don't know. I just went to
primary.
school. And then, you traveled from Nairobi, so you've traveled overnight. You get there in the morning. People are back from mass. And then you're in class the whole day. And then you go pray rosary. And then from 5, then you go for supper. And then you're told you're going for night prep. You don't even have your sweater because you don't remember that you're supposed to have a sweater. And Asumbi is close to Kisii. So it's quite cold. You're shivering the whole night. I was used to sleeping by 7:30. It's 10 p.m. You're still in class.
You're reading.
You're supposed to. Or sometimes the teacher is teaching at night.
The first day.
I don't even know I was not number 1 in Kenya. Such a waste. Such a waste.
It is for me at least. Nilitokea for Western.
No, and nilikuwa top in Homa Bay. I'm talking about Kenya.
I think we can now merge the experience. Okay. There's the shocking culture of when you go to, my sister says, my small sister, shule yako ikipita Nakuru, rest in peace.
Na umalizane na nywele. Wacha nywele Nairobi.
Wacha nywele Nairobi. But let me tell you, the other shocking culture that I found there, I remember week 1, the nun, I think it was the head teacher, because our water is rationed, there's time for fetching water. So I remember the nun looking at your body, and she told me, enough. The water yenye imechoteka is enough because ameshawa na my size. And then she's looked at you.
You smell
enough.
So
next,
akwata.
Yeah, kidogo. But then when I was on that line, I could see the people who are fetching the water. They are taking it from the nini, putting it on the head. So I'm like, what will I do when I get there? And oh my God, I got there. She said, enough. So Josie, nakumenyamaza. Sinika jaribu. Yote ikamwagika. And I remember my friend to date, Maria, was on the line and she was told, help her. So she's the one we fetched again. She carried for me day 1. Day 2, I expected her to help me again. And you fetch the night before. Then he sleeps under the
bed.
Again, then the following day you have to shower at 4.
Yes,
and it is so cold.
So I remember now day 3, I told Maria, hey, come. You're supposed to help me carry. And she's like, no.
You're supposed to help me.
No. And I was like, now I have to learn how to carry water on my head. And now, to date,
It's a skill.
I'm a pro.
Isn't it easier to carry water if you have to move something? You just put it here.
I
and
even
you
know how
move
to
it.
lift it to my nini.
And
Definitely.
No.
But that was one of the things that shocked me day 1. That 1, we have to fetch water the night before. 2, I have to carry it on my head. 3, we are going to shower in an assembly. I'm looking at in the morning. I'm like, where are we not? What are the bathrooms for? Class 8. Huh? Why can't we use the bathroom?
classes didn't even have bathrooms. Everyone showers
By the
outside
time
there.
you fika class 8, you don't even want it. You've been trained to use outside. That's part of the shocking culture for me that I got. And I know you have similar experiences, but now in high school. Now, tell us how you landed in your boarding school in high school.
Yeah, so when it came to high school, I remember one of the reasons as to why I went those sides, because my brother was also studying in a school those sides. So my parents thought it would be best if we are together, so that at least we keep each other company. Then Macu, at the same time, it was also just after post-election violence. So it was a bit safer to have
in your
us
area.
in our area.
Yeah.
That was actually, I think that was like the most determinant as to why we now went to schools back at home.
You know, I'm shocked that post-election violence you were joining high school. Me, I'd left high school.
Yeah, age difference.
And look at how nice I look. Who would tell?
But see, we are sorry.
Yeah, so I remember my first week over there, just like the way you had said.
So now were you called, or now mom arranged that you go closer to where you belong?
I also got a letter to go there.
Okay.
The government also there. Not the government. I also got a letter to go there.
Okay.
I think I was called to which schools? I can't even remember the school which I was called to.
Yeah.
But anyway, I remember my first week. That first week I was written as a noisemaker, just like the way you're saying noisemaking.
But now you're all Form 1s. Who's this?
Yeah, we're all Form 1s.
Imagine me, I was never a noisemaker anywhere.
Where I was seated, see, everyone had a desk mate. I was the only noisemaker in my row, because it was two.
So who are you talking to?
Myself, apparently. I don't even know. So I remember on that day, we were all removed outside the class. The whole class was removed. And us noisemakers were kept in a different room. And then the rest of the class was told to kneel in the assembly ground. This is night prep, Macu. So at least that day, thank God I was written as a noisemaker, because we were only beaten with one teacher. But at the same time, the rest of the class was beaten like the way you guys were beaten, like teacher after teacher after teacher after teacher.
That's what you meant, like different teachers beating.
Different teachers,
Yes.
they call each other
to murder people.
It was like five. It was five. Like I think 5 teachers, male, female, they just come and beat you. Nyinyi ndo mwenye mnapiga kelele.
Yeah, naongeza.
They beat you.
Ama they call each other. Ebu talimu kwa staff room wote wakuja na viboko.
Exactly.
There.
But then now in retrospect, what is that?
Exactly.
What is that?
Then I remember on that same day, there was one of our Kiswahili teachers. She came, and then she came to the noisemakers. Now, as were a few of us, but weren't beaten as much as the rest of the class. And she came and made a comment. Let me put it the way she said. Nyinyi ndio wenye mnafanya hata nisitake kupata watoto. If my children are going to behave like the way you're behaving, I'd rather not even have children.
What is the crime?
Apparently noisemaking. Okay, then another shocking culture, which I think one of you has mentioned, is, I don't know if I should call it lack of privacy. It's that one where you all bathing at the same place. The bathrooms are there. At that time, the bathrooms were there, but they were closed for some reason. They were still closed. And they were like cubicles, but then now outside those cubicles, kila mtu hapo akona besheni. I remember I asked someone, is this how we're supposed to bathe? Then that time, you're supposed to bathe yourself and not look at anybody on your side. Then even the same thing. I remember and I had like the biggest box of in the entire school. So I remember when I was walking through the dormitory, and most people used to like stand on their beds. See, there were double deckers, and someone is literally oiling themselves, and they are literally naked. Wow. I was like, oh my goodness.
Coming from Nairobi, that's big.
I was like, apana. And then at that, exactly. Then at the same time, and because it's shocking you, like, oh my gosh, no, unaambiwa. From one, unaangalia nini? Unaangalia nini? That was crazy. That was crazy. I think that was just a mess.
I think it was a mess. I remember, like, even us after the beating experience, I decided now I need to write a letter home, because there is no bureau. I need to write to my parents, come save me. I'm sorry, I don't want this anymore. But then how will that letter reach them? It has to be read to be posted.
What?
Yes, for us, there's a time letters were being read. What are you telling your parents? What are you telling your friends? Yeah, another shocking culture that we come to is the letters. If you by mistake, and this is just for me primary, if you by mistake just went out for a funky, a boy loved you, liked you, and writes a love letter, you're going to face the consequences of that love. Because one, your letter will be read in assembly. You've not read it. Chances are you don't remember this boy. Chances are they have professed their love. You don't know, but you will be shamed.
But why were you talking to boys in primary school?
I didn't. I'm talking on behalf of the things I saw. Because I saw someone.
And you know
shamed,
that trauma carried me to high school. Remember when we used to go for choir? Where was
you
I?
never talked to boys.
In the bus.
In high school, it's like I was freed. I was like, where are the boys? But in primary, I refrained from all extracurricular because I knew this is trouble. If you go for math, which we used to share with the boys, and you, for example, just cross over time of peace na ukawie your side ulisalimiana, the following people go and see Mr. Who during lunch. You will hear, and your crime is, why were you taking peace that side? Like you couldn't share the peace of Christ supper amongst you. Like I was so traumatized that I think it changed how I viewed boys. For the first, your sister will tell you, the first time I got a love letter in high school,
I thought you were pregnant.
I cried. I cried, and she was asking me, what's wrong? This boy's hitting on me. He'll get me pregnant. I cried. I even remember his name was in Upper Hill. He was from Upper Hill. I was like, why is this man trying to spoil my life, ruin my life? And your sister is laughing. It's just a letter. I'm like, yeah. Can you imagine the thought of someone writing all? I was traumatized. And then, due to company of people like maybe your sister, I opened up.
No, for me, the extracurricular activities really, I flourished.
Wow.
That is when I learned.
Primary,
Yeah, that is when I became confident because from the primary school I was in, I was not given any opportunities. The day school I went to, because I was the quiet, meek child who was the shortest in class. So I would sit in front and not talk. And then I went to school and my sister was there ahead of me. So they were expecting me to be my sister. I joined everything. That is when I knew I could sing. That is when I knew I could dance. I was in church doing everything. Not talking to boys. I mean, I looked like a child. So what boy would be interested? But I flourished. And that is why when I came to high school, I was busy. Like, I was told you're going for choir auditions. And I was like, okay. It wasn't a big deal.
Lovely to hear that you actually it
built
because
my...
now what I remained to do in the primary was dance in church, where you couldn't also dance too much.
Yeah.
Jocyline, what happened?
No, but then there's something I want to say about the showering thing.
Yeah.
Now you guys had doors. As
we
guys,
didn't
it
have
was
doors.
cubicles and there was no roof.
Yeah.
So
Also, as there was no roof, I'm saying when there was the cubicles, they were closed. But it was showering outside.
yeah, there's no. If it rains, you
Yes, you're
Still
being
shower.
rained on.
you're being rained on.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. What did you want to add on to
No,
the
it's
dancing?
just that she said dancing. Now I remember. Now you see, one thing about these schools in Nyanza, Western, everybody has a big bum. Everybody. So there was a rule in church. I remember the sisters used to be like, don't go there shaking your asses. Don't go there shaking your asses. If you shake your asses, because they're like the brothers are going to see, the other people are going to
priests.
see, you're tempting the priests, things like that. You
But
know.
I was an altar girl.
You know. So I remember it used to be so, even like, you know, the dances used to be so checked that if you're dance, and you know, sometimes it's not even you. It's
just-
not
it's
actually,
just
it's
the
not
bar.
that you want to shake. It's just, you even walk, you step like this, it just shakes.
what is the beauty of being a small girl? Me, I was in front there dancing and jumping.
She flourished.
Yeah, I was the small girl. Nothing had formed
Nothing
yet.
is moving.
Nothing is moving. I had to move my dress for something to move. And I was a liturgical dancer.
Now, the ones, even if you don't try, but now what used to happen was that if the sister sees it is shaking, she'll come remove you from the line.
In church?
Yes, in church. Remove you from the line and even slap you or beat you, or you see, because you're in a lineup like this, you're dancing as you're moving, the sister will sit at the edge. Akuchape.
And you're supposed to continue
You're
dancing.
supposed to continue dancing, but now you regulate how it's moving. I
Have you
kid
ever
you
been
not.
slapped?
For dancing?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, Okay.
I used to try my best not to
not to move.
you know.
I think I don't like how just you growing and developing was also a crime.
Oh yes,
Yeah,
it was.
it
So
was.
I
felt
mean, I
like it
really
was.
thank God maybe for my small boobs. I never had a lot of, but I remember also the children around, not children, but classmates had flourished. And they used to write my mama letter, please don't come with boob tops anymore. Please come with the bras. If it means putting a paper, I'll put. But this woman kept coming with the boob tops and vests. I'm like, what is this?
Imagine me never wore a boob. You see, though I'm blessed now. I never wore a boob top in primary. I didn't have boobs.
Wow.
It all came in form.
And
in
I
form
remember
one.
another thing that I learned in boarding, just being in that environment, was periods. When everyone was asking, umeanza. And I was like, what are we starting? They didn't know about periods. I didn't know about periods. And now,
reproductive.
class 6, I don't think it was being talked about. You see how in Nairobi people are conscious about talking about it? I learned about periods from my peers first. Before now, a teacher, I think in class 7, talks to you.
Yeah.
But now class 6, I'm just like, what is this people are starting? And if you've started, you are
People
like...
were hiding.
Oh, no. Kama ujaanza, we nyamaza hata ujaanza.
Oh, for real?
Like
Oh,
through
no,
the
we didn't
peers,
get that.
there was more respect.
Me, I was even scared of starting.
If your periods have come, because now you've joined womanhood.
yes.
So it would be like, unalia nini hata ujaanza. Like anything, ujaanza.
Me, I was scared of starting. Because everyone, it was a secret.
I was waiting.
I was scared.
Me, class 8, I was so
Me, I started in
stressed
Form
for
2.
3 years.
I was scared of starting. Imagine. And I kept praying to God, I hope I never start. Because to me, because it was never, no one talked about it, everyone hid, it was something dirty.
Oh.
Yeah, even if you're rolling and you're seated next to me, I used to think, oh my God, watanipatia tu chafu. Yeah.
Is that something you learned while in school?
In primary, because I remember my very good friend started rolling when she was in class 8. So she told someone else who'd started rolling. She didn't tell me. And then they just decided I can't. Sometimes we would share a bed just because. And we used
in
to...
boarding?
Yeah. Sijui whose mattress is lost.
And
Now you have to sleep on someone
How
else.
is a mattress lost?
It's boarding school. It's boarding school. So, or maybe your blanket is lost, someone stole it, or you were sleeping on the lower bank, but the person on the upper bank has susued. So everything else is, so you have to go sleep on someone else's bed. When she started her periods, she told another friend to tell me to go sleep with her that night because when you're on your period, you're dirty. So you're not supposed to share beds with someone who's never started their periods.
Interesting.
Yeah. And that is how I viewed periods for a very long time.
Dirtiness.
Until I went to high school and then everyone is rolling.
And it's normal.
And it's normal. And everyone is talking about, like, Joan, did you carry a pad today? Me, I would hide it.
Yeah. I think that's another episode that we have to have periods.
Yeah.
Periods and the period stigma and everything.
Oh, yeah.
But when talking about cultures, I think we've talked about the punishment aspect. For me, the beating was a shock for me. Other than just that, there are 2 encounters I'll never forget. One, the deputy teacher. That one I also saw stars. Like, you people think you can be beaten. Do you know you can be beaten 1 stars? Like, I was sleeping in class and I know. Umefanya makosa, yes. But I thought it's my desk mate waking me up. Kumbe ni deputy ananinag. Na pia mimi niko we donata niache.
Do you know what they would do for us? They would beat you on the back. Like, come with unamsha tu na kiboko.
Now, that's something I saw. But this one, so when finally I wake up, the third nudging, it's him. I saw us. That's the first and last time I've been slapped. But ushai slap ukatan. 360. Nili slap you up. Yani niliturn na nikaona stars. And then I was further punished by being taken to the staff room to be beaten. That's one encounter. But another one that I never forgot, we smuggled in biscuits. I'm going to talk about the food culture because that's another thing. I wasn't eating, but my friend was a day scholar, so we'd send her like biscuits. And then now this one time she was caught. We were called. Nilikuwa dining, tuko huko tunaserve maragwe, nikasikia Annette Ashiruma and sijui who and Margaret Muga go to the teacher nani office. We were beaten. I knew I'm dying. We were beaten. Unaona venye you were beaten anywhere. We were beaten. I had marks on my back. I had like, at some point I'm wondering, what are these people trying to kill us? Were they treating us like prisoners? Because yes, I've smuggled biscuits, but you want to kill me.
Were you taken to correctional schools?
Were we taken to correctional facilities where these people were taught by, what were they called? Colonizers. Because I only watch colonization documentaries and see the beating on Africans, and that's what I remember. The beating in boarding school. How was punishment for you?
I remember there was this one time I didn't have a tie. And of course, our class prefect really just had an agenda with me. So of course, she went and forwarded our names that we didn't have ties. And I remember that time we had a double home science lesson. And my home science teacher used to love me. So I remember that time they asked, and where's Jocyline today? She never misses classes. Where was I? I was digging.
Oh my God.
Yes, we were. I was digging. You see these holes. You see these holes of taka in the dormitory. That was what we were doing. We were digging. I dug almost the whole day because I missed classes the entire
when you
day.
mean digging, jembe?
Yes.
Now let me tell you my story with
Yes,
digging.
a hole. The whole time I was digging, and I remember, we missed classes that entire day.
Digging.
Yes, just because you forgot your tie.
But do you
In the
see
bomb.
the it's parallel with colonization? Honestly.
Let me
this is
tell
what
you my
I-
story with
Please
digging.
make
I
it-
have been to the shamba literally. Now, us guys, our parents paid school fees for us guys to go and become laborers for the Catholic nuns, because they would decide one Saturday morning, all class 7s, you're going to the shamba, and then me from Nairobi.
Okay.
From Nairobi, you're given until you finish that line, and then when you're done, and I couldn't even get to halfway because those are things I'm not used to. So everyone had to sit there with me until I finished. So some people would start from the other end to get to me. You know, those kids from the village, they could do it quite fast. They're used to doing it. Or sometimes you're taken to the convent to go, in Luo we call it suso, mahindi. You go remove them, the dry one, because they want to go make ugali. Or even kunin, even jugu, like groundnuts. After that, they brought and they want to cook groundnuts, they just get kids. Sometimes you'd even go get bricks. If sisters want to build something, you go get the bricks, you carry the bricks on your head, you're going to transport them.
What?
What is that?
You know, things I had forgotten we used to do actually are now coming back to me now.
So you went to school to work?
So I told you my father paid school fees for us to go work for this. And one of my aunties was a nun there.
You didn't have privilege.
No. Oh, I did at some point because my sister became anemic. So they assumed I'm also anemic.
So special diet.
Special diet.
Let's talk about the food culture. Now that we've gone there, one of the shocking things for me was food. When I went to that boarding and we were having porridge every day, and now twice a week you'd have strong tea. And you guys know, to date I cannot take strong tea. It is the worst strong tea I have ever had in my life. It tastes like rust. I have encountered rust. So I remember, like, the food, I would starve myself. Honestly, I never ate. I was so malnourished, and I think we never talk enough about the food culture. There are very many malnourished kids in boarding school, and I wonder what they're trying to do. You're trying to build resilience in people, or you're trying to kill them, because food is a basic need.
Yeah.
So when we were talking about breakfast, count me out, because the porridge, I tried. I was just vomiting. I tried. The canteen was opened twice a week. It had loaf and biscuits only, and you are lucky if you get a chance, because you have 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And that's the whole school. And then there's a lot of githeri and a lot of rice and beans. As it was rice, beans, githeri. I don't remember if we had ugali. I blocked my memory of boarding because of the trauma. But the diet was so bad because people would have breakfast like at 6:30. So I've not eaten. The first meal I'd have is lunch hour. Every day. Na nilikonda. Mkiona nimenona hivi, tushukuru Mungu because I am eating well. How was the food culture for you guys?
Hey, very simple. Every breakfast was uji
Yeah.
Every lunch was ugali and maybe one piece of meat like this, and either cabbage or I don't know if it was kuma. I can't even remember. Then every dinner was nyoyo, as in githeri. Full stop. Monday to Monday.
Okay, this is why
And then on Sunday, on Sunday, I think we used to have rice and beans. And I think the first Sunday of every month, we had an egg for breakfast. It was standard like that. So for me, because I love food, what I did, I was like, the only way I can survive in this school is if I do home science until Form 4.
You are wise.
Literally. I was like, because in Form 1, I used to see the home science students carrying juice and, they're walking so prestigiously. And I was like, the only way I'm going to survive over here is if I do home science. And I even became the home science captain at some point. So I used to have the key to the fridge. I used to enjoy myself. Just the food, I managed to get away through it because it was so too much.
Lovely.
Let me tell you, you guys were in heaven. You see, there I told you woke up at 4. You go for morning prep.
Without food?
Yes. And then you
Same.
go for mass. And
Every
then when
day.
you come back,
Every day.
every morning at 6. When you come back, you go for assembly and then you go to class. Your first breakfast is at 10:30.
No.
And you know what you're taking? A cup of uji. Sometimes, because you only have 15 minutes, you're not even served.
Yeah.
You will be called by the teacher to class. You have to be in class.
Math. Need to
Then-
math. Mwalimu wa math.
Yeah. Then lunch will eat ugali na supu ya mboga. Because utapa, if maybe in one leaf, walikuwa na boil tu. Alafu arushe mafuta. You're lucky if you get part of that top soup.
layer. Top layer.
Then on Tuesdays you used to eat omena. If you don't eat omena, chumvi, ugali and salt.
Like, are you literally served salt?
Yeah, they put salt hapo kande ugali.
What are they trying to kill kids? That's the question.
And then on Sunday they were serving pork. But then we used to eat nyoyo every night with a cup of strong tea. The strong tea was nice. I love it. Even the uji. Let me tell you, my mother will be very happy. Was very happy about me going to boarding school because it made me not a picky eater. Now the way you used to eat.
And I was a picky eater before.
Me, I used to, like, after 1 week, I started eating every single thing. Even that omena that I never used to eat at home. I started eating it.
And I remember you mentioned that it made you
A glutton.
A glutton because you are remembering in school.
I would when you go back home, I would wake up even at 2 a.m. if I think food ilibaki. I would wake up at 2 a.m. to eat it because I'm thinking I might not get this food ever again. Sometimes my dad wakes up in the middle of the night and angalia anasema unafanya nini jikoni? Like nimebeba na. And then the canteen only had bread. So you can buy bread and there was nothing else. Do you know what we used to do? We used to dip the bread in water and then nafanya and then you eat it. And you know how we used to drink water? This is even the funny part. There are no cups. So your maji umechota that you want to shower with, you just, the way cows drink water.
That I have experienced.
Yeah.
It's normal in some schools.
In primary.
In some schools. For me, what it made me is a very fast eater. Because
Oh, yes,
me too.
any
Oh,
point,
yeah.
the announcement is made. Class nani, go back to
Class, you're done eating.
So I eat so fast. This is how I choked on fish, guys.
Me right now, I am scared. When I eat with someone, I think nitamalizia food because most of them are quite slow. And
Yeah.
You're in a hurry. And then we got used to even eating standing.
Oh, yes, exactly. That's even what I wanted to say.
Passover.
there's
The dining halls were there, but they were never enough for everybody.
No, ask guys
Even at
that
some
they were
point
there, but they were
even-
closed.
Yeah, they were even converted into dormitories. So we didn't have.
Hold up. Why is your dining closed?
I don't know. Who will clean? I don't know. But we used to do all the cleaning.
So where are you eating from?
Outside.
Okay.
Whether it rains or not, you're eating standing.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes you and you know
utilize
Kisi,
our
Asumbi is like Kisi, so it rains almost daily. You're standing there on the rain, and then you're with your nyoyo with soup there, and then with your strong tea. The only way your
soup.
strong tea would see the way they're boiling it.
Oh.
They just put it on your plate.
What? I can't believe you make me think I was privileged.
Yeah, you were.
A little bit.
As we never used to have a
As we
dining
used
hall
that.
at some point. It was there, like Form 1, and then there were times there was such an influx of students. There were so many. So they were converted into dormitories. So we used to sit outside. It was just open air like that. There was
No,
no
but us guys
dormitory.
didn't have a
There was
problem
no
with
mini
influx
dinings.
of students. It was just being punished for being alive, for being taken to boarding school.
I hate it. I hate it. Another thing that I experienced now, now we are talking about our schools in Western in general, is the discrimination in quotes if you came from Nairobi. Oh my god, sisi watu wa Nairobi mimi nilienda na Nairobi. I remember one of my very first encounters of being punished is first me I was those ones kitabu ya music nimeandika lyrics za Isa, sayo ndio Bumba Chain imetokea, so I was at a corner, I'm teaching guys the moves. Nilichapwa. But you see, you're not being beaten for being you, it's for being a Nairobi person. Did you experience any different treatment just because you came from Nairobi?
Oh yes, definitely. For me, I remember any bad reference regarding drugs, regarding
pregnancy and sex education? No?
A little bit of that, but not so much. But any bad reference, let's say maybe in the course of schoolwork, and it's referred to Nairobi, you would always be mentioned. So Jocyline, watu wa Nairobi, that time you've not even done anything.
Yeah, watu wa Nairobi,
you've not even done anything.
No,
Then you know
it makes sense
that
why I don't
stigma.
like being considered mtu wa Nairobi. I didn't know. I'd rather I like to tell people I'm a village. Now it makes sense.
Yeah.
Then there was a stigma between the students themselves, because they're the students who are local, and then there are those ones from Nairobi. They always have a vendetta towards you.
Yeah.
And not because you've done anything, but just because of where you're coming
they
from.
also immediately assume that you think you're better.
Exactly.
So it's like a projecting thing of
Exactly.
them feeling like they're not better.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Even as much as you try to just
Gel
fit
it.
in.
You try to fit in.
Yeah,
Oh my
it just never
God.
goes from all the way
Yeah.
from Form 1 to Form 4. It never goes, and the teachers make it worse.
Yeah. But what I love is us for Nairobi people, we embraced it. So Akamba ilikuwa inatukujia. Sasa sisi ndio watu wa Nairobi, tuko na snacks.
As we had easy code.
Tumekujiwa na Akamba ya kuturudisha Nairobi. Like, I loved the trips from school going home. Tufike Snake Road and we start shouting, Nairobi. I know Nairobi.
No, me, my experience with Nairobi wasn't even with the teachers. It was with the students, but not even for who I am. It's basically the accent, because I wasn't saying yawa aki woye like
I know how to say mbehu mkate.
there are so many those two terms that they used to have.
Yeah.
I never used to speak like that. Even sometimes when we were doing poems, they had to tell me not to pronounce it the way I pronounce things.
Oh, yes,
to pronounce
yes,
them the
yes.
way they are pronouncing things.
Exactly.
And sometimes I would be beaten because I'm from Nairobi and I'm not number one.
You should have been number one.
Yeah, I was supposed to be number one all the time. Or sometimes I would be beaten because my dad used to work for KRA.
Yeah.
And then, see, he used when the teachers came to do their returns, my dad would help them out. So anytime I don't even get 100% in maths, I would be beaten because your dad helped us and you're here not getting 100%. I would be beaten.
Yeah, I was saying we were being beaten according to your percentage. So if you got 100%, you are not being beaten. Then they call the next 98. No one has, all of you. Mpaka tufike yako. Hata kama ulipata 40, utachapwa za all percentages until we get to you. And I don't know what the aim of that was. I really don't know what the aim of that was.
And then imagine
Kama si yako.
And then imagine we leave that school and go to a school where whether you're number last or number one, watu wanasonga tu. No one cared. No one beat
we'll talk
you.
about our transition to high school. We're still unpacking
Primary school.
Loosely speaking, guys. Yeah. Another thing that I really found shocking is the resentment towards hair.
Yeah.
Like, what is that? What is that? Why am I being penalized? Why are my academics always linked to my hair? I had beautiful long hair. Like, I usually say the last time my hair was really long was in boarding school. And I remember now class 8, mocks, we've passed or allegedly failed. And I just remember he's called Mr. Bakari, Kiswahili. You'd hear him from a distance. wasichana wajinga. So you'd hear it from a distance. So there was a bit of commotion in the other class, and we knew our class is coming next. Wajinga kabisa. So kumbe in the commotion, he was walking with a pair of scissors, and it didn't matter what was on your head. The scissors, wasichana wajinga wameanguka, next head. So what saved me is I had really small lines. But all the other people, their hairs were cut across. Do you understand the cross sign? 1 and 2. And he says, malizia badaye dada. So the whole day, you are walking with a cross, as if Jesus was not enough to die for us on the cross. You're walking with a cross on your head. That day, I remember, very many people had sweaters on their head. And then he started on Friday, and you'd say Malizia Badai. So we were all given the weekend. Think about how you're going to cut your hair. I panicked. I thought, how can I reach my parents? The letter will not reach on time. But I was stressed because I'm being penalized, and honestly, I had not failed. It's just the mean score had gone down. But now everyone has to be punished, and it is because you guys have hair and you have not concentrated. So I remember after that Sunday, I just said my last prayers. I remember even where we were. I remember with who. And she's called Sharon. If she's watching, and she's like, just let it go. It's hair. She cut my hair. These people, if they knew I was going to be a hair influencer. I remember we cut the hair. I went to class, but I didn't study. I was just like, I hate this place. Now it was class 8. It was like, I need to pass and get the hell out of here. Did you have hair discrimination?
Oh, yes, definitely. I think for our school, it was a rule. No chemical. No chemical. It has to be natural hair. So it's either you shave or you keep natural hair. And if you went to school as a Form 1 with chemical, they shave you immediately. Like, that's like automatic. And then I remember that time, my first day going to school, I had lines, small lines. My mom had insisted.
With you and your sister coming
my mom insisted. My mom insisted.
We had to undo Petri's hair.
Yeah. My mom insisted. We had to have very small lines. Yeah, it is. Yeah, so I remember now when we reached there, then they were like, no, you can't have that, because every Saturday you had to remove your hair, because Sunday you have to go to church with open hair.
What is that?
That was the rule. You could not go to church with lines. Never. You have to unplait. Exactly. You have to unplait your hair, and that was the rule. So we used to have church on Sunday and Tuesday, but the one for Tuesday you could go with lines, but the one for Sunday your hair has to be open. And then now another correlation with hair, I think there were so many punishments that now it reached a point that if you make noise, like in Form 3, Form 4, if you make noise, you're shaved. If you're found with illegals, you're shaved. If you're found talking to Sijui boys, Sijui where, or indiscipline, you're shaved. As in literally, I think during our year, if you graduated, or rather if you finished that school with hair, you were disciplined. Because so many people were shaved. And now there was a friend of mine, Sharon. She had really nice hair. She still has nice hair to date. But because but because people were so obsessed with her and her hair, she had to be shaved. People even used to write letters to the headmistress, like, if you do not shave her, we will ban the school. If you do not shave her, then we are going to riot. Do you know she was literally called? Yes, she was literally called and she was shaved.
That is trauma.
Twice. And it's just that her hair is just, it's good. It will still grow and it will still be nice.
What is this obsession?
Yeah.
Did you have any hair?
1 centimeter long.
That was the rule?
That was the rule.
Everybody.
Like so you had to shave your hair. And I can even shave your hair now. If you need someone, give me a makasi, I'm a baba, certified.
I actually learned how to plait, because now of the plating rule. Monday you have to have be plated. So for us, it was barter trade. You can only be plated by someone who will plate you.
Oh, yes.
Who you will plate back. Yes. So I had to learn. I even know how to plate myself. Na macho nimefunga lines very well, just to survive until class 8. They were like, all this is in vain. Chop, chop, chop.
Mm-hmm.
Aki lakini msalaba.
1 centimeter long.
Friends walking with their crosses on their head.
Us guys, it was 1 centimeter long. Every Saturday, you're there shaving each other.
Oh, you have to maintain?
Yeah.
Oh, that is not on the ikia mtu amenyoa.
So you're
Everyone.
maintaining the length.
Yeah. So if it goes past that,
We look like
It
boys
can't
with
even-
kwashako.
Please remind us the song. The full song.
Tazameni nyuso zetu zina afya na furaha. Hayo yote yatokana na bidii ya mtawantonina.
na watu wamenyoa.
Hey, and we had kwashako.
And they had I mean ugali and sauce.
Hey.
Tazameni uso zetu.
And by then, all those faces were actually dead. Because, you know, though you'd expect when kids are performing, they're happy and smiling, they're all like this. Even parents, like, they were so sad when they saw that. And I don't know why we continued to stay in that school.
I don't know. Maybe our parents just thought,
No, me-
let them just finish.
It's temporary.
May I have a feeling my auntie had a lot of say in the schools that we went to. My dad's sister.
Okay, I can see. Another thing that I wanted us to talk about is how they handled reproductive education. You're talking about periods. For me, I've mentioned I learned it through my peers. Then we had like a teacher stepping in class 7, and then you've learned it also through your peers.
Yeah, we didn't talk about it.
Jocyline, did you have any reproductive health education, and also how they handle cases of pregnancy?
Okay, in primary, remember when we're in class 6, I think, we were taught about, having periods,
That's
things like
primary,
that. Yeah,
yes.
now that was in primary. I
Yeah.
think that's the first time I actually learned about it because we were actually educated. And this was in Serare. So, but now when it came to high school, you've mentioned pregnancies. We used to have pregnancy tests every beginning of the term and mid of the term, just to find out, okay, yes, we did in the beginning, but maybe at that time it wasn't
pregnancy
the...
test. Are you peeing on the stick?
No, you're not peeing on the stick. You lie down. You go to, what do you call it? Is it the
Dispensary?
No, we used to call it sick bay.
Sick bay.
We used to call it
Did you have a
sick bay.
In primary?
Yeah.
No.
Us
When
used
you
to
are
have a
sick, where
sick
do you
bay.
sleep?
See, there was... you are sleeping when you're sick. There was that option.
Yeah.
Hey,
When
there
you're
was-
sick.
When you
You
were
are
like
not
extra
sick.
sick.
And you're just giving Brufen, of course.
Oh, that was
If you're
bad.
if you're really sick, there was a mission hospital over there.
And if you're sick and you can't go to school
Me, I don't even remember.
You didn't have a sick bay. Ama, you never got sick.
People were never sick.
You don't have the option of...
You don't have the option of being sick. You'll be beaten. You're pretending.
These are prison camps.
Wait, wait.
You were never sick.
Yeah,
The only person that was actually really sick, and I think she was pretending most of the time, I hope she never watches this, is my sister. Because she even went home. She even went home and stayed home for like 2 weeks. That's when she came up with the story of her being anemic. And then we had to eat special meal. But she wasn't sick. Because she was only sick after exams, when now we have release. We have to be beaten.
Yeah.
Or just before the exam.
Interesting. Yeah, so...
Checks.
Oh yeah, the check. So it was every beginning of the term. So you lie down on the bed in the nurse's office. So
One
then,
by one, like,
yes,
is there
one by
queue?
one. There's like a list. You see, like the class list. So it's like Margaret, Kuja. You see, like
The middle of your...
below your navel, like just what do you call it? Just
Why uterus too?
Ako. So the nurse will finya you. It was painful. It was so painful. I don't know. She was trying to see if it's hard. So if it's hard, you're pregnant.
And were the cases like almost correct, accurate?
Sometimes yes. Sometimes yes. Actually, sometimes yes.
And how would
so
they handle
now in our school, it was a rule: no
pregnant?
removing, no abortion. You could not abort at all. If you're pregnant, you stay with the
Baby.
pregnancy throughout. But then if you're in form 4 and you're doing exams and you're still expectant, then you're going to be like day schooling.
Okay.
Because I think the school didn't want any liability in case anything happens to you.
and the
So you'll be day schooling. In, out, in, out, in, out. But I remember there was this one incident. There was this lady who was expectant. And it was quite big. I think maybe she was between 3 to 5 months. And at that time, I remember it was on a Sunday. And, the whole school knew that she was expectant. And on that Sunday, I remember I was unwell. So that day, I was in the dormitory. In the dormitory, yeah. Then, after people left church, there was like some commotion. That day I was feeling very unwell. So, and there was blood stains.
Outside?
From the latrines. From the latrines all the way to her dorm. And I remember, the prefects were like, there's something that's happened over here. So, kumbe, she had taken undiluted juice. And it had gone and it had cut the baby.
It works that way.
Apparently. But that's what she had consumed. And she went and deposited it in the latrine. And that thing was so traumatizing. So the sisters came. I remember the sister said that entire latrine should be drained. They called those people to drain.
Exhaust.
Exactly. It wasn't even an exhaust. I can't even remember. But I remember it was drained. And that...
Fetus?
Zeph. Sijui kama ni zygote ama ni embryo at that time. One of it.
But you're talking 5 months.
Yeah.
That's a big...
Yeah, around 3 to 5 months there. Because they actually knew the gender of the baby.
Oh,
yeah. So they removed, and I remember that time I think I was in Form 2. They removed the baby, put in a box. And I think that lady was going through some depression or something like that. And it was those wapole girls.
They don't talk.
They don't talk. They're just so, and they're smart. It was kept on a box, and she was made to carry it. I still remember, to carry it and walk around the whole school from the dormitory all the way to the offices. And there were flies. There was a whole swarm of flies just following her. It was so disturbing. And I remember at that point when I saw that, I was like, Remy, I'm never getting pregnant, because if this is what it means, and she was expelled immediately. Immediately she was removed out of the
They have
school.
not even seen this is someone with mental health issues.
I don't know if even that was
care.
discussed.
Nuns really don't care.
Nuns don't
I don't
care.
even, but it was just because, you were given the opportunity to keep, but you decided to remove. And
So
removing
we'll
was the
punish
problem in the school.
So
yeah.
we'll punish you.
So she was expelled, and that was just how it was. It was
That
disturbing.
is traumatizing.
It was
even to hear it, I think
disturbing.
I'm getting chills. Like, it's very traumatizing.
And they knew the gender. The gender was a boy.
Yeah.
They said that.
But she was informed.
I think she was in Form 3 at that time. No. Yeah. Then, even in the assembly, they come and say, that would have been the next president. That would have been the next what? That would have been the next what? Now you people, you come and then you remove. Hey, it was
And I'm sure all of you got the backlash.
Hey, oh yes, definitely. That's why
so
now
mad.
actually I think at that point is now when the pregnancy tests were now much more rampant.
So every term, 3
Every
times CV.
you're done for, and imagine you can't miss it. You'll be looked for in the entire school. Where are you, or you're pregnant? Where are you? And I think there was a survey which was being done, because I think majority of the people used to either be impregnated by Boda people, yani just local people, and to get maybe school fees, to get pocket money.
There were deeper issues.
There was something else underlying. Yeah.
I hate that for that generation, because I feel like most schools have become more empowering. I really hope it's changed, but the schools I've worked with, there's sex education that's being done, that people are made aware, because at that time, remember, you're getting pregnant, but there's literally no sex education also, because sex is shamed on.
Yeah.
Like, we frowned upon. No one will teach you that if you do this, it's if you smell at a boy, you're gonna get pregnant. If you stay high, if you're holding hands, you'll get pregnant. But I'm hoping that most
Like
schools
even
are
getting a letter from a boy.
like
you get
letting her get. I've never told you guys. I have stories, but I remember in class 8, I danced with a boy. He was there, centimeters away.
You knew
like
you were
a
pregnant.
ruler. Really dance too heavy. Pale Sports View, holiday. Mimi the next day went to my cousin, please buy me a pregnancy test. I'm pregnant. I cried. And she's like, did you guys have sex? I'm like, what is sex? We danced together. That is all. We need to do a test. We did one test. I said, that's not enough. We did after another 5 minutes. We did another one. Aki, my cousin, if you're watching this, thank you for the love on this stupid girl. I was so stupid because it was just a frowned upon topic. There was no real education around the topic.
Oh, yeah.
So for me, even just being close to a boy, I'm pregnant. And I was now worried. I don't even know the father of this child. I don't even remember the face of this guy because we were just dancing kuna giza kidogo ile tu ya hivi na ako huko, and I'm like, Jesus, yeah, is there a point he touched me? Maybe here. Yeah, hivi tu. Aki mimi, I cried. I knew I was pregnant. I am hoping most schools are sharing sex education rather than frowning upon it and then treating people like they're the evil ones or they're the bad ones, yet you didn't teach them.
Because it was so traumatizing to the extent that, there was really no counseling or something like that. And I remember we were even given an exercise of write down the people.
Who you think bad.
And apparently some people wrote me. And later on, it was one of my teachers who was telling me, you were actually written by some of the students. And I felt so bad. I was like, how, yes, I was bullied thoroughly, but
yeah, it really scared you.